introduction or background from my side. Uh, so recording has just started. So as a short background, I am basically a senior software professional. Played the role of various technical roles, starting from development to tech lead to architect to CTO, and developed many complex software applications, uh, including low code, no code, AI, expert system, machine learning also currently, and across various business domain and various technical domains like uh, even machine code programming, assembly language, C++, Java, C Sharp, and PHP, Android, and currently Python is also there in the picture. And apart from that, I have created many software resources while executing projects. Many
Hello. Hello, sir.
So what I wanted to mean is that learning the tricks of the trade, uh, right from programming to software design, is not a rocket science. So it requires basically a reasonable logical analytical capability, and degrees doesn't matter. Madhyamik pass is more than enough, and then sufficient grooming would be required. So, so that is what the message I want to convey. So I'll come little more on that later on. But before that, I want to get some interaction from your sides. So what I understand that you are taken a decision to make a career in software development. So is that right? So write it in the chat box, please. Chat box is available right here?
Yes, 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 sir. Chat box is
Okay, great.
available for everyone.
For everyone. Yes, many of them are writing. Let's say uh, if anybody is not, objective is not to become a software developer, then write no here. So that way it will be easier to differentiate.
Yes.
Good. So one decision you have taken, right? So taking decision is the most difficult part. Once you have taken decision, you are much ahead into that path. That's I should say. Okay. So let me share some thoughts on this software career. Just a minute. Okay, I have to. Yeah, share is button is here only. So I have to be allowed to share my screen. Yeah, please.
Others, please mute yourself.
Yeah, please allow me to share my screen.
Yes, sir, yes. Yeah, now you can start, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm just sharing certain slides, which is basically known to everyone, but just as a recap, I should say. So, how to presentation mode? Well, in my case, F5 does not work. Just a second. Slideshow from beginning. Yeah, great. So this is a few slides. I will take a few minutes just to share that thought process. Yeah.
Others, please mute yourself. We will come one by one regarding your queries. Okay.
So normally, why people prefer the software career? I have just written few points, so you can share if you come out with some your own thoughts. Basically, it's an white collar career. That means it does not involve much of physical work. Intellectual capability is the most important factor, and I mean, better scope to apply creativity, better remuneration than the other fields, independent consulting opportunities, not to even if you are I mean single person, you can do consulting and providing service to various companies, which I also do. I left my job in 1998, and since then I'm doing consulting on my own terms, and with a lot of I mean flexibilities, and also you get the opportunity to roam around the globe. So if you have some other points, you can write, or do you agree on these points? So you can write in the chat if you had on any other points also. So basically, who are eligible to come into the software profession? So I have already told you that reasonable logical and analytical capability, degree is not that important. Even a school dropout is eligible. And some understanding of writing and communicating in simple English may be required just for communication. That can be learned over a period of time as well. That does not mean that it has to be there, but it will be required while going forward. So there are certain myths that, like common perception that a degree like BCA, MCA, BTech is required to be a software professional. So it's not true. Earning a degree and becoming a software professional are two different things altogether. So I can give you an example. I mean, in India also there are examples that school dropouts have written software which are competing with big software companies of USA. So I'll show you a little later on that one as well. And also I can cite one more example, not the screen, but later on I can provide link also. Let's say when Java came as a enterprise application development platform, then Java uses JDBC for database access. So the book on JDBC was written by a graduate who is a graduate in philosophy. So he's a philosophy graduate, wrote books on Java, JDBC, and he has two software companies. So therefore, uh, any degree, even no degree is good enough as long as he is having a reasonable analytical and logical capabilities. Now, you have passed out from the colleges. What are the scenario basically? Institutions who are giving the degrees like BTech, MCA, so they mostly focus on awarding your degrees, but they do not. Their business model actually do not support creation of industry level skills. So their business model does not support it. So, to my experience, I've seen, let's say, from a college or from a stream like IT or computer science or MCA or whatever, if you set aside 5-10% students, so they move on their own, even if it is not in the taught in the college something, so they study on their own. But if you set aside those few percentage, then for others, it is basically skill acquired, which is industry level skill, which is 5 to 10% with respect to the industry's requirements. So what does that mean? That means that an English honors graduate or a philosophy honors graduate or history honors graduate may be at 0, and computer science graduate may be at 5 to 10. That's the difference. That's the reality. Now, as a result, the student's career becomes uncertain if they fail to crack the campus interview. That's the reality. If the if a person gets into the campus interview, they are lucky. Not only they are lucky, their forefathers are lucky, I should say. So, and those who do not get into the campus interview, sky will break down on their heads. As their software skill would be as good as 12th standard pass out, right? 5 to 10% value addition in 4 years, spending several lakhs of rupees. That's the reality. So, so why should you depend on luck, right? The, if I am getting into the, selected in campus interview, I'm lucky, otherwise I'm unlucky. Better that approach is, I mean, risky, I should say. Now, good skill never sits idle. This is a very, very important message. Let's say if a TV mechanic or a car mechanic, if the skill is good, that person is always demanded. Always. Even if you find you have to work hard to find out really a good TV technician to repair your TV. And that applies everywhere. So therefore, whatever a trade or discipline a person is working, if he or she can acquire good skill, so she will be risk free or he will be risk free. Now, acquiring, let's say, industry grade software skill is neither prohibitively costly nor too time taking. When you compare with that, I mean, cost of earning a degree from the college, it is costly to some extent, but it is not prohibitively costly that way. Sorry.
Others, please mute yourself. Everyone, please mute yourself.
So now, what could be the better practice? Let's say when people are, I mean, students are getting admitted into first year, better to start practicing programming in parallel to their normal academic activities. Like, in every department, in every colleges, at least 5% students are there who does it. And they become software professional almost like a while passing out. They don't care. Their slogan I have seen, if I get a opportunity campus interview, it is good. But if I do not get, then it is better. So they have the guts to say this. So it is a better I mean, practice always. But some experience are there. I mean, people when so students are going into the college, they have different kind of groups with different kind of thought process. So I'm sharing one thought process. One of the students I've dealt with, and he was very interesting story. Just a few minutes before that, I'm just telling you. So in everywhere and also in the software trade, so there are three kinds of people: class A, B, C, let's say. So A means that they will move on their own, like all those 4 5% students. B means that you have to push, and he will move he or she will move to some distance. Then again you have to push. Then again you have to push. At some point of time, that engine will start and move on your own, on his or own. So that's the type of B. And C is basically you cannot move. So you have to take hold of him and catch hold of him and then carry forward to the in that direction. So that is like a stone, right? So now, what I was telling the story that he has a thought that okay, when you are joining a company like big companies like I'm not naming, let's say TCS, PCS, whatever it may be, developer has to do only copy pasting, take code here from here, copy, and then it is done. And then he was in a group which is of that kind of philosophy. So they thought that learning is not required at all. And for him, so after passing out, 3 years almost, it was. I mean, it took 3 years for him to understand. Even to make copy paste code to work, the knowledge is required. So that he learned after 2 years of unemployment after passing out. Then he start thinking, okay, I have to, I mean, learn something. And then there's a lot of other stories. Then finally, the case came to me and I could make him employed. So, and Since this is an interesting story, I commented that, and many people say that you won't be able to make uh, that person employed. That's a challenge. I did it, and I also commented if any Nobel Prize is given to me for, for making him employed, I won't be surprised. So it was such kind of he has not studied anything after passing out class 12th standard. What was his level after 4 years of BTech? The same level, same exactly, not even 5 to 10%. Okay, passing out. Coming back to this point. So one is the way to do your practice on your own while you are studying, but when you are passed out and you have not got any job, then what is the option? Option is to, let's say, 1 year grooming through working in a real life scenario under expert guidance works well. It works. Therefore, he and she can be made a software engineer who can get an employment without taking any help in this world, anybody's help in this world. No placement support, nothing. He'll go to the interview, three interview, one job, four interview, two job. That's it. So I came into this that school dropouts even become a software professional in 9 months. So, so do you want to know this story? In India, it happened. Zoho, a company in India called Zoho, they have a lot of product suites. So they developed training to the school dropouts, which are who are basically talented but could not continue their studies because they need to make money right away for their families. So Zoho identified those dropout students, school dropouts, trained them, and made them software professional in 9 months. That's a story happened in India, and that product competes with Salesforce. And that Zoho CRM, that time they were developing CRM product. Nowadays, Zoho has have many other products as well. So can you think of that school dropouts have developed software which is Zoho CRM, which is a competitor to Salesforce CRM software, and many of the developers were the school dropouts, and that's the fact. So I'll show you one document for that. Let just after this one maybe. Yeah, it is a publication in the Forbes magazine. You see this Mark Benioff, who is basically the owner of the or CEO of what is called Salesforce. Sridhar Vembu is the Indian CEO of Advantage. Now it is now Zoho. So they hire those kids who are bright but not going to college due to pressure to start making money right away. So they need to support their families. So So company says that we train them, and in 9 months they produce at the level of college grads. That's the reality. Okay, just wanted to share this one. Now coming back to this, so this is the you have passed out to maybe I think because of some reasons campus interview was it was not mm, favorable enough to get into that campus interview. That's fine. Now, what to do? How to make career? So I'll share another PPT, but that how to build an entry level software career. you see, any software development project, what is actually being done, I mean, what objective is going to be fulfilled by the entire team, right from the developer to CEO, is to deliver software to the client in time, with quality, and within the budget. These are the three parameters. You work anywhere, you are in IBM or in TCS or Infosys or anywhere in the globe. Uh, or what is it, say, Facebook or wherever. So everyone in the team, from developer to CEO, are working to achieve these three attributes. The software has to be quality software. It has to be delivered according to the schedule, I mean in time and within the budget.
The objective of any software development project.
So if you have any query or question, then you can raise your hands. Then
Hi, sir. And Vishal also. If anyone have any queries, you guys can ask. Otherwise, please me too.
now we know that SDLC, right? That planning, it is called, sometime we call the requirement analysis, design, implementation, testing. Sometime it called planning, architecture and design, implementation, test, delivery, deployment, and maintenance. So what is the objective of showing those, the slides? Because let's say right from the developer to CEO, so they are playing various kinds of role to make that software development project as a success, right? So where your role comes into as an entry-level developer, that you need to understand what exactly you have to do, which skills you have to earn. You have to which skills you have to learn, and also what level that you need to acquire skills and knowledge so that you can participate into that activity. So in short, let's say we should start with the requirement specification. We have to understand the requirement of that software. So then you can do some cost benefit analysis. So, and some based on that, if the project is backed, we have to do some project planning. So these are done by the group of software professionals which are have skills to do that. Then it comes that architecture and design. So finalizing the architecture, you have to do the architecture analysis, then do the high level design, and then low level design. So what are those? So at each stage, let's say software requirement specification is a document. When that person does this thing, he produces a document so that others will see. Who will see specifically? Project plan, who is doing the project planning, he needs to see that. Who is going to do the architecture and design, he needs to see that SRS. So that means that SRS is going to be the input of many other activities. So this architect and the designer, so they take that SRS as an input and do the architectural analysis, high level design, low level design, and they produces a design documents, set of design documents. So everywhere that some output is there already. Then come implementation. So implementation involves programming, of course. So as per the so programming you have to do while doing the implementation, which is as per the design, number one. Number two, it has to conform to the coding standard. We will come into that, what is coding standard, and also you have to carry out unit test. So this is the area where we will elaborate more detail in the subsequent slides, because as an entry-level software developer, you will have to play the role in this, steps of that SDLC. So therefore, you should have clear idea about what kind of skills you need to acquire and what kind of activity you have to perform while playing that role. Then there are different kind of other tests which are there, which is called integration testing, user acceptance testing, and some testing could be automated, manual, or it could be both. But coming back to the second implementation, you see I have highlighted that unit test. So unit test has to be done by the developer, mind it, during programming. So therefore, if I write some program, so I have to write test case also to test that program. So test case is also a program, and I have to run the test case so that it is those tests are passing. That means that your software is tested or unit tested, let's say. Now we have already mentioned this one, that integration and user acceptance testing. So this testing can be automated test, manual test, or both. So any one of you are doing any testing currently or interested in testing? Hmm?
Yes, sir. I am completed my manual testing, sir.
Oh, great. What's your good name?
Vaishnavi.
Oh, very nice. So
Yes.
testing is also a very good career, definitely.
Yes.
And then that delivery and deployment comes into the picture. You have to, uh, I mean, let's say many developers are developing various parts of the software. They will be integrated, and then they will be integration testing will be done, and then it will be released as a version of the product, and then it can be deployed into the production as well. So delivery and deployment in this particular field, there are a lot of automation has come into the picture. That with DevOps skill, particularly the CI/CD is very important factor. Continuous integration and continuous delivery or deployment. So we'll uh, subsequently discuss more on those things. Since this is the context that you are going to be a developer, that context is more important to understand and explore. And after this delivery, then maintenance comes into the picture. Maintenance means mostly bug fixings and change management. So bug fixing, we know, for example, let's say I have developed a software, we have tested sufficiently and we have deployed it in the customer space, but still some bugs have come out while they're using it. So we have to fix those bugs, right? Because with no extra charge, since that is the fault at our side. But change management is something different. But again, this bug fixing, there is a contract remains that, okay, first 5 months or 3 months, let's say we will free service for bug fixing. But after that, you have to come into the maintenance contract, and within that, that bug will be fixed. That means that we will be paid for. And change management is, let's say they want extra features. Okay. So they want extra features. That means, so that's a requirement again. So that particular requirement will be again that its analysis, design, coding, testing, and delivery will take place. So this aspect of change management is very important to understand. Two things I'll add to this, whatever I've already told, that from legal perspective, legal means that whenever there is a agreement between two companies, so that's a legal document. Let's say we'll develop this software and deliver these phases, and we'll payment will be this in first phase is this much, second phase this much. So that agreement signed by two companies, that's a legal document. But this change management, even after that, if the company wants to make some small additional requirement, so that also has to come in the form of a change management, and that its estimation and let's say total effort requirement, what would be the cost, delivery time. So that has to be put into a separate document and signed by both sides. So that is becoming a legal document again. So, and this change management, I have written this against the maintenance, but in reality, it happens during the development also. Let's say SRS requirement specification has been given, development is going on, then customer suddenly realize, no, we need this feature also. So they can raise change management. But by that time, that main agreement has been signed already, right? But against that particular change request, so uh, this change request, one separate agreement will be signed. For example, when in a software development project, for example, let's say if it's a 2 years project, it may so happen that there was a master agreement and there may be, let's say, 50 or 100 or 200 such kind of change request has come and the legal document has been signed. So this change request or change management, CR basically it is called, but I have written it change management means that getting that requirement to again do that estimation, then implementation, delivery completely. I'm calling it as a change management. So this aspect is also very important, but from coding point of view, it is not that much. But you need to have some kind of understanding for this change management as well. Now we have discussed there, let's say, planning, architectural document preparation, implementation, and unit testing, then other various kind of testing, delivery, deployment, maintenance. But QA I have put it in a separate slide. Let's say. Okay, before coming to the QA, regarding project planning, it has come into the project management part of it. And version management, I have not explicitly mentioned, but that remains that we will discuss while going forward. So QA is very important point, right? One of the three attributes, if you can remember, we have to deliver the software in time, with quality, and within the budget. And this actually initially there was a concept called QC, and QC to QA has changeover taken place 2-3 decades before. And QC is basically a police-like approach. And many people, many small and medium organizations nowadays, still now, they followed only QC but not QA. So QC and QA, all those concepts came from actually from manufacturing industry. Software came later on, right? Manufacturing industry is much, much older. So what is QC basically? QC means that, let's say, in a production line, one item is being manufactured and coming out of the production line. At the end, we are testing it. So after testing, we found that, okay, this is some defect is there and we are rejecting it. So what happens? That particular item has been produced with taking the machine time, other resources like raw materials, then human being time, and at the end we are not able to use that one. We have to throw it away. So that way it becomes costly, right? Then the manufacturing industry, they came out with the thought that how to make a system where this defective will not come out at all. So, while they are thinking, to achieve that one, so what needs to be done? We have to understand why the defect comes, right? The defects could be in the raw material, defects could be in the machine, defect could be in the human skill, defect could be in the process. So therefore, they started thinking that at every stage, when the right from procurement of raw materials, recruitment of resources, defining the process, purchasing a machines and its calibration and maintenance, the machines which are used for manufacturing. So everywhere we will take some measures that defect is not produced at all. So that is what is called QA. So what does that mean? That means that QA will be there while preparing SRS. QA will be there while preparing architectural document, design document. So at every stage, quality measures will be there. So those during coding, let's say when you have done the coding, so there will be some quality measures as well. So like all other steps. So therefore, objective is that end software that we are making is a quality software. It is not, but another approach QC, okay, only when the software is being released, you are going to test it. If there is a problem, then you are saying the release cannot be done. You work on that again and again. We have to do the testing, and when this will pass to the quality team, then we will deliver it to the customer. So that testing will also be there in QA, but quality measure is being taken at every stage of the software development process or SDLC. So that is a very, very crucial point to understand in any organization, right from the developer to CEO. So this is more or less what is QA. And a little more area I want to address is that various tiers in the software architecture. We know this already, although like presentation tier, application tier, database tier. That means more or less we know that UI development comes into the presentation tier, database development comes into the database tier, and business logic implementation comes into the application tier. Now, why I'm putting these three layers, we need to understand that there are three different kind of skill sets works at three different layers. In presentation layer also there is a design, application layer also there is a design, and database layer also there is a design. So therefore, design coding testing will be there in every layer with different kind of skill set. That's the reason I put this slide explicitly. So far, is there any question? So you can write into the chat box. I'm giving a, let's say, 1 minute break just to your opinion, anything. So you can write that in the chat box. Let me see the chat.
Excuse me, sir. What do you mean by seer?
CR means change request.
Change request.
Yeah. So
Okay.
change request is basically a document. Let's say I've already mentioned that there is a agreement signed between two companies to develop a software and deliver, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
at that time, requirement is finalized, and based on that, company has provided the costing. Okay, this much amount of money we need to develop the software, and these are the payment terms part by part. Now, if the customer wants additional requirements, so we have to charge additional fees for that. So therefore, to make this happen, so there is a practice followed all over the world because there is a lot of such disputes were coming into legal disputes, and it project gets stopped. Then it is instead of software development, then that fighting or battle goes on to the court, and so to come out with a solution. So this practice was taken. Change request means, let's say a client, let's say PCS Global is working for General Motors. We are developing a software for their manufacturing unit, for example. So they have given SRS. We have quoted this thing. Project has started. Project we are all working. And after 6 weeks, they said that okay, we forgot to mention this thing. It maybe they forgot, or maybe let's say new trend is coming with additional feature in manufacturing software. So you want to implement that one, but that was not mentioned in the SRS. So if they say that we have to do this, then we will say that no, it was not there in the SRS, but we can do that definitely, but at an additional cost. That is reasonable, right? So then what happens that General Motors then raise that request. So that means a separate request, and against that request, what PCS Global will do, we'll analyze that requirement. Then they will say that okay, is there any modification in the existing implementation? What are the any new code, database, screen, program are coming into? So then they do the estimation. Okay, this much amount of extra effort would be required to deliver this extra requirement, and then they quote proposal. Then they get the proposal. Okay, this is the change request. This is our quote for that. So then they agreed the quote price, and they also sign on it. So that becomes an agreement, a legal agreement again. And based on that, we have to again, implement that feature and to deliver it. So that is the, now to specifically answer your question, entire process we can call change management, but change request is that when what is initiated by our client with an additional feature to us, that document is the change request. Understood it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any other query?
Yes, sir. What is the difference between QA and QC, sir?
Yeah. So QC means that when the product is already made and then you test it, and if it is defective, in case of manufacturing, you throw it away. In case of software, you redo it so that the defect is not there. Okay. When the software has been already completed implementation. But QA is that QA is that QA is basically so there are various activities in SDLC, right from SRS preparation to architectural finalization, high-level design document, low-level design document, coding, testing. So QA says that you take quality measures at every stage. Let's say person who is preparing that SRS, at the end of the SRS, you just review that SRS document, whether there is any gaps or not, there is some missing points or not. Got my point? So quality measure is there in the while preparing the SRS, while making that architectural document, while making the high-level design document, low-level, every stage the reviews are there, QA review. And also to important point to raise is that QA team does not mean that only that let's say in a separate QA team remains in a software company, but when a QA team is uh, set up or formed for a particular project, let's say designer, architect, they are also becomes the part of the QA team along with the actual QA professional from the QA department. They're to take care of the quality measure activities at every stages of the soft SDLC. So that means that quality measures is taken right from the beginning to the end, not like testing which happens at the when the product is already made. This is the basic difference. Understood?
Okay. Sir, they will test the quality of every stage.
Yeah, not test basically. They will do review basically. Let's say SRS is prepared. So
Okay.
now the persons, senior persons who knows that SRS and they have that design knowledge, so they will review that SRS document.
They will review the quality of application. They will review the
Quality of SRS, not that time the software is not produced at all, has not started producing even.
they review the quality of SRS.
SRS. Then similarly, quality of architecture document, quality of high level design, low level design documents. So
Mm,
thought process is to provide some quality measure at every stage of the SDLC.
okay.
So any other question? Okay. So let's move forward. Now, what is the interest areas for us, for you actually? So you are entering into the software development profession. So mostly, if you enter into the profession as a software developer, so that implementation is the most interest area of interest for you, right? So there, what you are getting as an input, what you have to do, what you have to produce, this understanding has to be very clear. So let's say from SRS to high level design document, low level design document, those are already prepared. So you might be given low level design document or LLD as a let's say if we come to this point, LLD document, here it is, LLD. So sorry. Yeah. So this LLD document will be available to you as an input to you. Then the coding standard. So now what is coding standard? We'll discuss. And also SRS you can ask for optional if you like. So they will provide you. Now, so what is coding standard? Coding standard means, let's say initially that software development was like an art, not an engineering. Nowadays we say that software engineering, right? That's a subject is taught in the graduation course. Art means what? Let's say a sunset is going on and four artists are drawing picture of that. So they have their own style, right? To draw that art for the sunset. Now, in case of software development, let's say one variable name basic salary, someone name the variable as basic underscore salary. Someone may write like basic salary all caps, all lowercase. Some person might follow like basic salary B capital, then basic SIC small, salary S capital, SALRY again small. So there are different kind of styles, right? So similarly, method naming, then documentation style, coding pattern. So many things can be person specific. So that's an art. Then what will happen? Let's say someone else comes into your place, and then his style may be different, so he will face problem. And another very crucial problem comes up. Let's say I, as a project manager, I am reviewing code for 5 developers. I see five different styles. So that creates a problem. So therefore, we have made that software development community made that, okay, not as an art, but to make it an engineering. So make it a standard that you have to name variables, you have to name methods like this way. You have to do, let's say, exception handling, some guidelines, some many other aspect of programming. They provide a guideline document, and the developer has to read and understand that coding standard document, and accordingly, he or she has to code. Understood this one. If there is any question, please raise the question. These are very crucial point to the entry level developers.
Sir, any requirements for manual test engineers, sir, in outside?
Uh, any requirement for?
Manual test engineer or core Java. I am completed my software testing course, sir.
Okay.
I'm currently looking for jobs, sir. Any job opportunities there for from any companies, sir?
We'll discuss that one. Maybe in the skill path, you might have to move a little more further with automation testing. That would be better. We'll discuss that separately. To my understanding, that you have a manual testing skills. So it is advisable to add automation testing skills, then there are a lot of opportunity, I'm sure.
I
But we
completed
can,
my entire software testing course, sir.
okay, we'll discuss that separately. Okay.
Okay.
So, this coding standard, and so these are the inputs. Now, what you have to do as a programmer, you have to program the business logic of that applications, the task that you are given. Against that, what are the logics are there that you have to write program for that, and that program should be as per the design LLD and also conforming to the coding standard. Then you have to do code check-in, check-out in the version control system, for example, Git. So you have to have the knowledge of version control like Git. So that is very crucial. How many of you knows that Git version control knowledge you have?
They
Right?
are
If
using performance testing, sir. Version control tool, JMeter, new load.
JMeter is the performance testing, but not version control. JMeter is a load testing tool, right?
Yes, sir. In performance testing too.
But Git, I was talking about version control, Git. So if you have a knowledge of Git, then write in the chat box. Yes.
Yes, sir. I know Git and GitHub.
Okay. So Git you have used, right?
Yes, sir. How to
Okay.
push?
Yes.
Yeah.
Comment.
How to commit and branch? How to create branch?
Okay.
Yes.
And any knowledge about that pull request?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. So going back to this.
And sir, I know, sir, AWS.
Oh, very good. Very good. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So therefore, we have to write the code as per the design, low-level design document, and as per the coding standard, we have to follow that style. Then you have to do code check-in, check-out, and write unit test case, and you have to carry out the unit test case, updating task in the task management tool like Jira or maybe any other tool for that matter. So these are the activities you have to perform. Yeah.
Hello,
Please.
sir. Sir,
Yes.
what is Jira? What is Jira, sir? Jira?
Oh, Jira is, as for example, I've written the task management tool. For example, let's say you are given a task. So there it is estimated it will take, let's say, 6 hours. Okay.
Okay.
So you start the task and change the state of the task to that work in progress. So
Okay.
that means that you are working, then at that time is logged. And then when you are saying that it is done, then that time is logged. So how much time is taken, it will be recorded within the task management. So and also the project manager knows that okay, which tasks are going on currently, which is completed, which is on hold, which is cancelled. So those kind of task management tools are there, which is very, very crucial for the success of any project. And developers will be involved in the task management uses of the task management tool. Jira is one of them. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So as an output, then what you have to coming out with an output with sorry, that is unit tested code which you have already put into the Git and raising that pull request for merging. So this is
So,
going to be, yeah,
exact meaning of Git what, sir?
sorry, Git.
Exact meaning what it will come for Git.
Git is basically a version control system. So what is mean by version control system? It's a good point. Okay. Let's say this is very important point for everybody to understand if you do not have any knowledge on this. For example, there is a program, one program, for example, it's a Java program. Okay. One person is working, another person is also working on that file. So what is going to happen, you can think of now. Let's say there is one file. I am going to make some change on this. Another developer is also going to make some change on the same file.
Yes, sir.
So now, if we do not do any version control system, what will happen? The person A and B, whoever, for example, let's say A has taken a copy, make some changes and deposited. B also has taken before at the same time, but he is depositing the code or checking in the code after A has finished. So therefore, A's one will be overwritten, B's one changes will only remain. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So therefore, to manage all those things, I mean, what is I should say, automatically or so to have some control on this. So we can use a version control tool where this tool will take care of that what changes you have done, what changes I have done, or A has done, B has done. So accordingly, it will make sure that both changes are there in the file. So we need not to be worried about that my changes will be lost if he delivers after me. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there are two kinds of version control tool. One is lock based, another is without lock. So that means uh, one is that, let's say, lock based means if A takes the copy of the code, so until and unless A make the changes and return, B will not be able to take. So therefore, this overriding will not be there. Another way is that both A and B will be able to take a copy and they will work on that copy and they check in the code when they are finished. But system will take care of that. The check in and check out, like in the hotel, you when you go to the hotel, it is check in, and when you go out of the hotel, check out. That means if you take code from the repository, that is check out. When you are giving code back to the repository, that is check in general. But like Git comments, like commit push, they are basically that check in. Okay.
And sir, Git status, sir, used to like so.
Yeah, status means that what is the current status, but that is not check in, check out at least.
Okay, sir.
Mhm. Okay, just oh. Now, further into the programming, what you have to do. So write program, an optimized program for performance and memory requirement. So these two terms are very important. For example, when you write a program, so let me tell you this, there are, when requirements comes into the picture, there are two kinds of requirement. One is the functional requirements, another is a non-functional requirement. Non-functional requirement means its performance, scalability, security, all those stuff, all those things. And functional requirement means that if I give this input, it will do the way we want it. Like form will take the data, do validation, then write into the database, send email to the user or whatever requirement is there. Those are the functional requirements. Now, let's say I have developed a program, it is working fine, perfect working, but that program can be a candidate of throwing out into the basket. May not be acceptable even. Why? There are reasons. If your program is taking more memory, so what can happen? You see, let's say a company, let's say we are selling some SaaS kind of subscription. Let's say use our software $20 per month. Okay, use $20 per month. Now, another company or we, let's say, developed a similar kind of software thinking that we will compete with that one. Then we came up, then we find that, okay, we are also giving, let's say, $20 or initially $18 to get more customers. But while customers are growing, we find that it is we are incurring loss, not profit. And found out why. We found that, let's say, their server is able to take care of 5,000 customers at a time. Our server is able to take care of 2,000 customers at a time. So that means that our server cost is becoming two and a half times of theirs. And so therefore, to make it profitable, so we have to sell at a $30 subscription rate. And why people will buy if it is available in $20? And that we become out of business. And then what we found that developers have developed softwares which is taking more memory, and therefore the server is not able to cater those many simultaneous users, and we company became out of business. So therefore, writing according to the functional requirement, if we write code, so that may not be acceptable even. That is not enough. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So therefore, two terms is very important in software programming. One is performance or speed, and another is that memory requirement. So objective is to take as less as memory and as fast as it can run. That is the objective. But this optimization again depends on the application's need. And very interesting thing I would like to share with you that it is possible I can make the program faster using more memory, and I can make the program slower so that it takes less memory. That means that performance and memory requirement, they are basically one can be achieved at the cost of the others. That is possible. Now this term optimization is not generic. For example, let's say we are writing a software which will be used in a washing machine or in a let's say if you press some button there, so it is displaying something, various menus and others. So it may be an induction heater, cooker, or it could be a washing machine. So let's say after we press this menu, if it takes 20 milliseconds more to display display the content, so that may be acceptable. But let's say in case we have developed a software which is matching that lat long position of a missile and the target, and it has to hit that one. If my comparison takes a few milliseconds more or more, then it might hit to another target due to the fault in the software. I mean, because the software is not performing in that speed. And again, the worst scenario in let's say a missile is locking a target, let's say a fighter aircraft is the missile has to hit. Okay, and that fighter aircraft is, I mean, clever enough. He is changing his direction, going up and down just to evade that missile. But missile is locked means that wherever it goes, it has to hit. So changing that direction of the missile is an output of a software basically. So it has to run so fast that even if it takes more memory, it doesn't matter, but it has to be very, very fast. But which is just opposite to the washing machine software which is embedded inside. So what that means that optimization is not a generic, it is a generic term, but its meaning depends on application to application. May vary. So now this commenting in the code is very, very important. Exhaustive test cases for better code coverage. But this code coverage, let's say, very important aspect. When you write code, let's say you use like if else, under else again, if else, those kind of branching takes place, right? So everybody understand that one, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, good. Now you see that our objective should be such that we should write such kind of test cases that if passes all the if else combination, then only we can say that we have tested that entire code, right? It may so happen that test cases are not so exhausted because this particular if is not covered or is not tested at all. So who knows that whether that will run correctly or not? So therefore, this code coverage means that test has gone through tested all branches of the code, if else and whatever. It may be iteration branching or whatever. So therefore, this code coverage is a very important, one of the metrics basically. And also bug, let's say this kind of measurement, say that this company develops software where we get, while going forward or using the software, where we are getting, let's say, one bug in 10 million lines of code. That another company that they are getting, let's say, 20 bug in 1 million source code. So therefore, this bugs per line is also a metrics. So for quality, you have to use different kind of tools also. Like for example, I have written a sonar cube, so which will find out that a non-optimized code you have written. It will tell that here you can change this code to make it better, and will also find bugs, vulnerabilities, security vulnerabilities. So those kind of tools also you might have to use. But exhaustively, finally, I'd like to tell you that when you are developing a code, so it has there are various matrices which will be derived to know the quality of your code. Let's say what is the reliability, what is that readability, portability, clarity, efficiency, extensibility. And there are quite a few more, three more things has come up in the newly. I'm not mentioned here. So that means that readability. Let's say if someone else is reading your code, so he can understand that easily, right? And reliability means that it is not failing over a period of time. That means that, let's say, system becomes down 99.99% uptime. So that's the reliability. Okay. So it is the portability. Let's say portability from one platform or environment to another platform. How easily this written code can be ported to another platform. Reusability, it is very, very crucial. For example, you have written one function to send some or class to send email. So in a project, maybe other areas also it is required to send email. So what should be the expected? So if you write the code in such a way, the same code can be utilized there. That makes sense. Otherwise, another developer has to write the same code again. So this reusability spans within the project, within the organization, across the organizations. So whenever some component comes for, let's say, sending email or sending SMS. So you can make it a component, it's a separate class, you can compile separately, make a separate jar, so that you can add to another project and this can be used right away. So reusability has different layers, like within the project, across the project of a same organization, and across the organizations also. And then there are testability, maintainability. There are very, sorry. Yeah. So testability metrics is that how well that other test tools can be applied to test this one. So this is, let's say, independently that can be tested using some other tool. Uh, so that is very crucial point. If you say that, okay, now to test my one, then you have to link other things also. So that is very problematic. So in this context, I would like to discuss, for example, normal practice is, let's say there is a one scenario, a student registration or patient admission. So there is a form, data is entered, it goes to the server. It in the client side there can be validation. In server side also there can be validation. Then what will happen? This data will be prepared to test into the write into the database. Maybe one email is being sent to the user or SMS is being sent to the user. So now you have, as a designer, they have designed it to make all the functionality into various component or various classes. So you are implementing those classes. Now, each functionality can be tested independently. Not like in a small company, sometimes they say that every time he is sending, whether SMS is going correctly or not, or email has been sent correctly or not, he is filling this form, meeting submit button, and then checking, no, email is not going, there is some message in the what is called inside the console. Then again make some changes in the code, again he is testing, is again filling the form, and again running it the entire thing. So that is not a practice in the industry. So therefore you have written a class, one developer has written a class for sending SMS, another developer has written a class for sending email. So they should be tested independently with test data. Understood it? The testing will not be done using the filling data into the form, no. Whereas that UI form will be tested using some what is called some test data. Let's say an UI is getting some data from the server to display onto the screen. How to test it? Until another database is there, you are hitting that, sending the request, or hitting API to get that data. But that part is not developed as yet. I'm developing the form now, so I should be able to test it independently. So we have to, through the test case, we should have the mechanism to to feed test data into that form and to test it and deliver it. I don't care whether the backend will be developed 5 years later or 2 years later. I don't care about it. So what the message is that independent entire this is one use case. I'm saying that only patient admission or the student registration. So there are four, five components, maybe four class, five class in the backend. One database related class might be there. Then the form is there. So each one has to be independently developed and tested. So that's the testability. It has to be tested independently. So this is a very crucial point, and you should be, what do we say, that mindset-wise to be prepared for that. And it is, once you understand it is very easy, because I am testing that email sending program. Why do I care that the form has developed or not? How do I care whether the database has been developed or not? Is that my business? No, it is not. So I have given 6 hours of time to write this class, test it, I deliver it, and I will go home. Bas, that's it. My test cases are passing, done. So maintainability is another issue. Like, let's say, if I make some change, then due to some implementation of additional features or whatever it is, then if the software is not developed in such a way that using separate component for different functionalities, then what can happen that if I make one change, then that might create bugs in some other places. Got my point? If that happens, then maintainability is low. Let's say without writing email sending program as a separate class, without writing SMS sending program in a separate class, I start writing a monolithic code in the backend, get the data, do validation, save it to the database, send the email, then what can happen? Let's say in the same file there are many functionalities. If I change one functionality, maybe other functionality is affected. So that is the quality of maintainability which needs to be maintainable. Better maintainability software means that if I make a change in one part of the software, there is a less or zero possibility or less possibility rather that a bug will not surface out in other part of the program due to this change. Clarity means, let's say, it is understood clearly and without any ambiguity. And efficiency, you know that, and extensibility also. Extensibility, that system can be extensible to add additional features. So that is another quality of the code. Documentation, I have not elaborated that one although. But there are other 3-4 important metrics that I have not put into this one. But what I'm trying to make you understand that, let's say, you as a developer writing quality code or not, so there are various matrices to check to verify that whether your code is passing the desired values against those matrices. Got my point? So if you can write code in this way, that codes are will be called a quality code. If the matrices are good, matrix values for your against your testing of your code gives good values. So 1 minute break. If you have any questions, then we'll discuss. Any question so far?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
My name is Vishal Kumar. Sir, what is the Sonar Cube? I think so.
Oh, SonarCube is basically a software tool which does that static code analysis tool, which can tell you that, okay, so these are the areas where you can improve your code. These are the some vulnerabilities. There security vulnerability maybe. So this is a code. When you are delivering the code, before that you can use that tool to understand that those problems, and you can correct them. Got it?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So there are many tools we have to use basically while developing software, like version management, like task management. There are quality tools as well. So any other?
So where does the microservices fit into this software development life cycle?
That is in the design and architecture everywhere. Let's say design and architecture, it will be there. In the programming also will be there. Everywhere it will be there. So this is the generic scenario, whether it is a microservice based or it is a non-microservice based, it doesn't matter. Because that's a design, right? At the end, you have to write program. Let's say if it is in Java or .NET C# or PHP or whatever. So you have to write code as a developer. And since you have asked these questions about the microservice, so what happens, why people want microservice? That needs to be understood. Let's say one monolithic application, there are many services built into a separate applications, okay? Sorry, in a single application. So that creates sometimes problems. Problem means, let's say, when you are going to scale up means, let's say this particular functionality is used by most of the people maybe. So that means that load onto the service is very high, load on another service is low. Got my point? So therefore, if we can take out that higher load service and make it a separate service, then uh, that higher load functionality into a separate service, then I can put that into a 20 nodes so that we can cater to those all requests. Whereas the low feature requirement service can be separated and put into a two nodes. Otherwise, what will happen? You have to put that entire software in, copy into the 20 nodes. That is one. Second point is basically this is another important point. For example, this particular functionality is implemented by this group, this functionality is implemented by this group. If they can be separated and so that they can be developed, maintained separately, so the dependency is not there. So that is another advantage. Got the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's say what are the steps to build a career. So what we discussed is, let's say in the entire what I would say that software development life cycles, here that as an entry level developer, implementation is your interest area, right? And considering that implementation as an interest area, so what exactly you have to do, which input you will get, what activity you will be doing, what output you have to deliver, and also the various aspects of programming in terms of optimizations and quality, and find that it is the exhaustive matrices of quality is listed in this, that your program has to pass all those quality matrices. Now coming to this, let's say how to build this entry-level software career in that case. So there are two steps involved. One step is to learn the requisite skills that you have to learn. And then you have to work into real life project. That is in the step 2. These are the two steps which are very, very crucial. Now in the steps 2, you should be able to these are the skills you should have. For example, that how computer works internally. That means reasonable knowledge on computer architecture, operating system has to be there. So if that is not there, then you may not be able to be a good developer. For example, if you see this picture, left side is a quack doctor, right side is an MBBS doctor. The patient is saying that I'm feeling pain in this position. So he just listens to this thing and says that, oh, it may be some indigestion and some gastric problem. So write some medicine. In case of MBBS doctor, if a patient says I'm feeling this part of, so he'll think, oh, that pass. He knows internally that anatomy, internally how the body functions. He immediately can think of it might be an appendicitis. So what is the difference? Difference means that MBBS doctor knows the anatomy and physiology of human body. Got my point? Now, let's say you as a software professional, if you do not know how that computer works internally, for example, let's say So I have typed A, right? It is visible?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
okay?
Yes, sir.
Now I press that key in the keyboard and A is displayed onto the screen, right? So if I ask you, what happened in between, right from pressing the key on the keyboard to display on the display board, you should be able to explain. Now, as a general public, they say, "Oh, it has to happen. You have pressed A and A has been displayed." As a general person, that's fine. Now, if someone says to me that we eat food and then what happens after that? I can tell that it goes to the stomach, it gets digested, and then slowly it gets converted into a blood, urine, stool, and so that's the mechanism. So he can accept my answer. But if I ask an MBBS doctor, sir, when we eat food, after that, what happens? So if he says the same thing, then we can say that what have you done in the last 6 years? I mean, wasting so much of money of the society. He should be able to tell us, let's say, when we are chewing the food, that what kind of secretion comes into it, goes to the stomach, hydrochloric acid and many other enzymes secretion happens. These are the biochemical reaction takes place. Then it goes move step by step. So every stage, what happens, you should be able to understand, right? Able to be explained to us. Now, let's say if I also say we have pressed A and A will be displayed there. So that is the general person's answer, not the software developer answer. So therefore, you have to understand that how computer works internally. If you do not understand to a reasonable level, then you will basically here MBBS doctor knows human anatomy, whether quack doctor is not knowing. He is treating based on some assumptions. So similarly, if you do not know computer architecture and operations of computer internally, so you will also be like a good quack doctor. It's very, very crucial. There's a difference between a programmer and a software engineer. It is not rocket science to know the computer architecture, how computers works internally. We'll take care of this one while going forward, but not now definitely. So software architecture is understood by taxi driver also. Let's say if you buy a desktop computer and tell taxi driver, we just put those three things inside. One is keyboard and the display and the CPU box. He has done many times. He knows that I know, sir. This is called keyboard. This is the display monitor, and this is the CPU box. He has known computer architecture to that extent. Okay, so and again, we have to know things. If you apply common senses, not to think that things are very technical and all those things. Those are not the right approach. I can tell you that, let's say, what computer does basically. We are want to be a software professional. What computer does actually, and every layman also knows it. For example,
Processors information.
sorry, yeah, someone is saying something.
You can carry on, sir.
Okay, fine. Just fine. What is the time now? Oh, it is already 9. Okay, fine. We will take maybe another 10 minutes. Let's say, what is the difference between data and information? So data, it says facts and figures, information is processed data. So can anyone say what is the difference between data and information?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, data is collection of information, sir.
Yes, sir. Data is a process of information.
Data is a process of information.
Yes,
Or
sir.
in
it means filter information, raw data and filter information.
So data is a process of information or the reverse one. Let's see this one.
No,
Let's
sir.
say that
Actually, data is collection of information, like a raw and column base. So
you see
anything.
information is derived from data. You have to do
Yes,
some processing
yes, sir.
to get information from the data. For example, there are marks of the student. If you want to know what is the average marks, so you have to do some processing on the data. Even if you want to know that what is the highest marks, you have to compare all the marks and you have to find out the highest one. You are doing some processing. So data is raw, and after processing on data, you can get some useful information. Let's say inside the computer, for example, the layman also can apply algorithm that we go on checking marks by marks and you will remember the higher value and finally we'll say, oh, 79 is the highest marks. So that algorithm is done inside the memory, right? Storage of information. So what is the name of grandfather of Manmohan Singh? Do you anyone knows? Name of grandfather of Manmohan Singh, ex-prime minister. Or grandfather of Narendra Modi, that could also serve the purpose. So who is the Prime Minister of India currently?
See Narendra Damodar Modi.
Sri Narendra Modi.
Correct.
Narendra Modi.
So therefore, let's say if the data is there in the memory, so we are able to retrieve that data and we can deliver, right? If it is not there, we won't be able to. Let's say we have prepared one resume, tomorrow you can open that resume and edit it. If you have not prepared it, where from you will get it? The computer will not be able to give you. So is it a big thing to understand? Let's say computer stores data and information and human brain also. If it is there, that can be delivered. If it is not there, it cannot be delivered. It is layman's also knows. So computer does processing, that human being also does processing. They know what is processing means. That means that way the highest marks was uh, calculated, for example. Then let's say this scenario, how that information is transmitted. Election rally. This politician says that we have done 2 roads and 3 bridges in this area in the last 5 years. We have done a lot of good jobs for the society. So give me vote. So what is happening? When he's saying some information is there in his brain and it is coming through biological cells and then through the air up to the microphone, then it is getting converted into electrical signal. Then again it is converted to sound. That means the vibration into the air and it goes to the person's head. Then actually what happens? Information transmission one head to another head. And same information is going when it is through air, it is the vibration. When it is the electric wire, it is through current or voltage, electric signal. So same. So what is happening? Let's say there is a file in the server in New York, and you are downloading. After downloading, that file is in a laptop. It is the same thing, right? So from their network, it goes to satellite, a downlink to India, so network company, and then to my laptop. So if that complex scenario is nothing but this one. So therefore, computer can. So communication has a protocol. Let's say phone call, other side rings, he says hello, then start talking. So this is kind of rules, some protocols comes into the picture. Now, if you see, the computer can process information, stores information, transmits and communicates information. That's what computer does, right? And maybe you can say present some information if you want to specifically mention that UI and other things, but that is part of the processing of information only. So any human body also processes information, can understand that what is the highest marks, stores information, what is the name of Narendra Modi, it is stored there, but what is the name of grandfather of Narendra Modi, it is not there. Computer also transmit and communicates information that what is same as what is happening in the election rally. So what is a big, not to think of computer is this big, that is technologically complex, not to think that way. So, so that approach has to change. Things are very simple. So we have to apply common sense and think in a simple way. Okay. So coming back to this one, so you have to learn so you have to learn how computer works internally. You have to learn the programming languages. So these programming languages, you want to make a career, it may be in, let's say, Stack, or it could be in Java, it could be .NET, so whatever. And you have to know that databases as well. Web technologies, HTTP, HTML, JS, session management. You have to be able to comfortable with parsing and forming XML and JSON both. Integration protocols, REST, SOAP, GraphQL has to be very clearly practiced. Then security authentication, authorization, certificate-based authentication as well. Version management, Git, and task management in tools like Jira and others. And some introductory knowledge on software design, UML, so that you can understand the low-level design document. Unit testing, some I thought about the deployment, CI/CD automation, some thought, not the thorough knowledge about. So these are the skills you have to learn. Sorry. Yeah. Now, after learning those skills, you have to work in software development project. So that you can do in many ways. For example, you start developing your own software, taking help from many resources which are available on the web. That's possible. And also, what you can do, you can join a open source software development team, and you can learn from there. That's possible. Join an organization as a developer and learn while working under expert guidance. That is another methodology. Most of the people make their career in this way. So therefore, crucial point for to make your career entry-level software professional career is to, first step is to build required skills. You have to be very comfortable and confident about using those skills. That's very, very important. And without understanding all those skills, if you start working in a project, so that would be not a win-win situation mostly. And then you start working in a software development project or real life project, sometimes people call, under expert guidance. So this is the way you can build your software development career. So this is more or less the thing I wanted to share with you. I have taken a few minutes more. Now, if you have any questions until this, so let's come out and discuss.
Yes, sir. Which is the most tools used in like software development for entry level?
Okay, that's a good question. Basically, for entry level, for example, let's say preparing SRS design documents or QA, there are many other tools, but for entry level software development, what you need to focus on is here only, right? So therefore, whatever programming language or is used in that project, so there is the IDE, right? Integrated Development Environment. Have you heard the name of the Integrated Development Environment? Let's say for Java, there is IntelliJ, Eclipse. So those kind of. So what are those tools basically? That tools gives you a writing program and compile that program, run that program. If there is an error, they give you the facility to debug the program. Debug means that, let's say, you can run the program line by line to understand where the problem is exactly. So uh, editor, compiler, debugger, combiningly, they will provide one software where you can write your code, build, run, debug. So that tool is a very must. Okay. Now, apart from that, you might have to use some tools or frameworks, maybe let's say unit test framework. Then you might have to use some QA tool as well, just to test your and find out those matrices whether your code is a quality code or not. So those things would be you should be able to comfortable with. And another tools generally is used everywhere, which is basically the task management tool and the version management tool. Like Jira is one name. For example, I have written it may not be Jira, it may be something else as well. And Git I have written also, for example. Mostly Git is used, but some other version management tool are also there. So when you will learn all these skills and working in a development project using all these tools and frameworks, so your skill and experience will be valuable in the market. And most crucial thing is that, let's say, when we'll start this one, we will start from ABCD even. And you have to have some kind of training where you need to know everything in details and depth, what is happening. Not like some superficial knowledge that will not help. So when you are running a program, you should understand the computer architecture in such a way that you will be able to understand what is happening when the code is running. What is the impact of my code in the memory? What is the impact of my code on processing at runtime? So that you will be able to understand if you have the knowledge of those internal working of computer.
Okay,
So
so DSA is important in this time. Like
TSA.
DSA is important for front end.
Oh,
In
data
any
structure. No, data
yes,
structure
sir.
is important, definitely important data structure. At least if it is not those, some data structures may be lessly used, but common data structure you have to know, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So skill we have to build on the programming language, database, and all other areas that we have discussed, and you have to work in actual project, the way actual project runs, then it is done. And I have created software professionals where I tell them, let's say after a certain, practice is done, I tell them you are ready for interview. Some tips and tricks are, provided and helped him to gain that kind of skill to handle that situation in the interview board. And then I tell them you go 3 interview, 1 job must. Give 4 interview, 2 jobs. And I have never, and I told them that you need not to take help. Anybody is in this world, like some placement support, these, that, just not required. You go, appear in the interview board, and you will be able to, you will get a job, and you will win job on your own. For example, let's say there are 40 candidates against 2 posts. So if we send our 2 candidates, so their level will be above around 75 above, or others will be within 40 and 50. So there is a clear distinction, right? And
Yeah.
and for that you have to, that difference creation is only required. That's it, and that can be created by providing in-depth knowledge. It is just I'm writing a few lines program. It is working. I'm satisfied. It is just not even 5%. No. So we'll come across that one, so that depth of skills will be required, and whatever is required to work as a successful software developer using all those tools and frameworks. So it is done. Any other question?
If anyone have any queries, you guys can ask.
Yeah. So then it is already 9:16. I've taken 16 minutes more. So we are done for the day. And if any queries comes related to this one or any, I mean, not related to discussion also, if you have some doubts or some fear or whatever, so you can we can exchange. Feel free. It is I always believe in exchanging thoughts and ideas. Sometimes some better thing, I mean, opinion comes out from the developer also. That happened while working in a project. But you have to be in a mindset that we have to acquire right kind of skills, so that is not. I'll add two more sentence. So that is not complex. It is simple. But let's say simple versus complex. It is simple. Easy versus hard. It is not easy. It is hard. That means you have to put effort. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Let's say I will not be putting effort and learn this technology, learn some programming language, database, and some example program, and so that may not work. Okay, good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you everyone for
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
listening to this session. So is it
Thank
is
you,
it
sir.
yeah
Welcome.
is it useful, this session?
Yes, sir. It is very
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is very useful.
Okay,
So,
very good. Okay, fine. Thank you.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Okay,
sir.
sir. Good.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, how to.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks. Good night.
I think that this session is done, so we can wrap up this meet now.
No, yeah. So I'm just looking for how to where from
Oh.
to leave that.
Okay,
So,
just sir, in the right side corner, end. Sorry, there is this for you. I host for you. Leave.
yeah, I'm just
Like
closing this one. Yes, sorry, stop sharing and then yeah.
Yeah, first stop sharing and then leave.
Yeah. I'm looking for stop sharing one. Which one? Fine. Okay. Good.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
I am
very good.
Sarita here, working
Yeah,
as a
okay.
Java developer last 10 months.
Oh, so we'll have a separate session with those. I mean,
Yes, sir.
experience. Yeah,
Yes.
we have to have so that we can drive the team. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.